Welcome to Rivers Edge Homestead, Northwestern Ontario. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about what I use on the homestead and what I find is the best tool to invest money in. Now, I find the best tool to invest money in is a tractor. Every tool you can buy out there, whether it be a quad, a UTV, or a compact tractor, they all have their place. For the dollar value, these old tractors you can't beat. Now, this tractor, you can find these types of tractors on Kijiji or Marketplace for anywhere starting at $2,000. Find one with a bucket, it's probably going to start at $3,000. Pretty simple tractors. If you're looking at one and it starts up, it runs, all four gears work in reverse, you're good to go. Okay, I can't guarantee it's going to last more than a week. That's what happens when you buy used equipment. Now, the other thing to be aware of is that you should learn a little bit about mechanics. If you have an old tractor, lots of YouTube videos on how to keep these things running. And believe me, I use it. So, what this tractor consists of? This tractor consists of a motor, a transmission. It's a 4-speed, 1, 2, 3, 4, with reverse and start. So to start this tractor, you push in the clutch, which is down there, and you push that up into start, and away it'll go. So, and then you have the rear end components and the 3-point hitch components. Mine are broken. I have a spare tractor over there that's covered in weeds. That's my next project, is take the parts off that I want off of that tractor and put on this one. I got that tractor off Kijiji. It's toast, needs lots of work, not worth fixing anymore, but it has good tires. It has a front end loader, and those parts can be pushed right over to this one because they're the same tractor. A few years difference, but from that they will fit, and they're both Henry Ferguson's, so the parts will cross over. Now, a couple things about these old tractors. They will come with a 3-point hitch. They do not have remote hydraulics. A lot of times you'll talk about remote hydraulics, and where you'll run into that is if you want to run a log splitter off the back of your tractor, you stock as the tractor is, you won't be able to run that log splitter without adding hydraulics. Now, you can add hydraulics off the PTO driven machine. Sorry, PTO shaft is a better word for it, and a reservoir, and you can add, but you're starting to add in the money. So if that's something that's important to you, look for a newer version tractor. Ford makes good tractors, Massey Ferguson, whatever you can find. Massey Ferguson and Ford are the two that have been around for decades when you get into these old tractors, and parts are very much available to them. They're easy to work on. So if we kind of look, I have a winch on the front of mine, needs a little bit of love in it, bent. One day I pulled too much. So when you're looking at these old tractors, and you'll find various manufacturers, Alice Chambers, John Deere, seem to be the big ones. The 3-point hitch is what is interesting about them. Henry Ferguson developed the 3-point hitch system. If you go back in history, I'm a bit of a history buff, so I look at history stuff. Ford and Henry Ferguson were together. They split. Ford stole Henry Ferguson's 3-point hitch technology, and there was big lawsuits, blah, 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 back in the 1950s. But this is the standard 3-point hitch. It's called a Category 1 3-point hitch. It consists of 3 items. It will consist of the drawbars that go up and down via hydraulics, which are controlled by that lever right there. Okay. There's a PTO shaft. Can I get at it? It's right there. That will be engaged, and it will rotate. Now, it rotates automatically when you start your 3-point hitch system up. 3-point hitch system is a lot of hydraulics. It's controlled by this. I don't know if you can see this. I can't see too well. But this lever here will engage the 3-point hitch system, which is a hydraulic pump in the rear end, which turns that PTO, is engaged, and lowers and raises that drawbar. Now, that's pretty much basics of a old tractor. One thing I do want to talk about with this old tractor is if you look at the tractor and how it's set up, and you kind of see where you're sitting there, you're sitting above the rear wheels. Now I got a big set of rear wheels here. I have 1,000 pounds in front of me, and I have this hitch. Now this tractor's got lots of torque. It'll do wheelies. If it jams, it'll walk up a tree. If it can get traction, it can hurt you. Now the 3-point hitch right now is up. So you can see it's in the raised position. Now I'm going to pull this log today, and I'm going to skid out many logs. So I'm going to put a strap from this 3-point hitch right here to this log. Now if you kind of look here, if I kind of look, the strap's high, the log's on the ground, you would say, hey, you know what? I can lift that log up with the 3-point hitch and I can skid it out. Yeah, okay. But if you kind of look, that's up about 2 to 3 feet. I got a great big pivot point here sitting on a set of tires, and I got 1,000 pounds right there. So what happens when, by some reason, this gets caught, and all of a sudden I'm exerting a backward force on this tractor, or this tractor is exerting a forward force. It cannot move forward because the log is jammed. So it's going to do the next thing, and it does this very quickly within a matter of seconds. It says, I got all sorts of traction. I can keep moving. This drawbar isn't going to move. It's going to pull down. The front end is going to rise up, and this tractor is coming over top of you. Seconds. Many farmers have been killed on these old tractors by flipping them within seconds. I know a person broke his back, got laid up because he flipped the tractor on himself. He lived. Now the newer tractors, I don't know if they have safety features that are fast enough to react, not quite sure, but what I do notice is they put a roll bar over top of the operator, so hopefully he can survive. But at the end of the day, what you need to do if you're going to pull with one of these things and skid, you make sure that this drawbar is to the ground. So here, I'm going to put it to the ground. Here's the lever. Drop her down, releases the hydraulic pressure, and that lever goes down. Now I'm pulling in a down position. This gets jammed. Tractor tries to pull, it will just spin. It will not flip because there's nothing pulling back and down. It's just strictly pulling back. That's a safety feature, safety remark that I'm going to make. I don't want to see anybody get hurt on these tractors. I don't want to see anybody get hurt at all on a homestead, but it can happen. It happened to me. I got hurt dropping a beam on my head, didn't have my hard hat on, was cutting corners, 20 staples in my head, laid me up for 2 weeks. So I'm a little bit on safety, and I knew better. I knew to wear my hard hat, but I was cutting corners that day. So I try to talk a little bit about safety with everything. Hopefully it'll help you. It'll keep you involved with what's going on, and it'll make a decision of what you want for a tractor or for an implement that you need on the homestead. You have a wonderful day, and this is Rivers Edge Homestead, Northwestern Ontario.